Evening.
Great. I hope that we are all well. So we pick it up from where we left yesterday. Remember yesterday, of course, we had introduced the aspect of e-teams. We talked about it clearly and the whole idea, including, of course, some of the common errors, and we looked at how we are supposed to solve the same. So today's segment, I just want us to continue that, digging deep into e-teams and see what we'll be having. Just a moment, let me try open this. So I should be able to sign in on this. And remember also the class that we did yesterday can also be accessible on your accounts. I've seen only one person who had requested, of course, only one person who had requested, of course, for to be granted access. I don't know about the others. So make sure that at least we have access to this. I don't know about the others, but only one person had requested to be granted access on what we did yesterday. So make sure that at least you are updated on the same. Let me turn on my share screen. Okay. So these are what we looked at. Of course, that interface, these are what we had. So we talked about environment yesterday. I want us to talk about the other area here, which is items management. I want us to talk about the item management. So e-teams, the way it has been built like talk about a form of POS, right? Point of sale, whereby I be able to record every item, including purchases and the rest. So you'll find that it is a whole, or it is a huge form of system, which it will always be important, of course, for us to always consider and look at it deeply. So at this point, I want us to focus majorly on item management. So what will you be expected to have on item management? Item management is simply a case whereby we are required to record the items that we are supposed to sell. Like if at all you can recall our note we did yesterday under online, we were looking at area before we dispose an item, we were required to create, of course, to create this item on the platform. The same thing will apply. The same thing will apply when you are dealing with, when you are looking at, of course, the aspect of e-teams, the e-teams client. This is a desktop app. So Molimu gave us a clue yesterday. I mentioned that at any given point in time, whenever you want to check of course, item that should be recorded. Instead of you having a lot of struggle, you can use the link that I shared with you yesterday. You can use the link that I shared with you yesterday, which I believe you must have written it somewhere, the UNSPSC code list. So this is the first procedure of creating an item on items. You come on item management, you do item. Okay. So under item at this point, you'll find that I'll be having all these details. I'll be having all the details which you can be able to view it on my end. So these are the details that we will be required, of course, to consider, where we are going to talk about the item code. That will be auto-generate itself. When we are looking at the class code will simply give us the specific code based on what we are dealing with. And that will be the most important item, because the rest we can always be able to adjust very easily. These levels are simply the levels of items that you'll be having. And it is very important for you to know what you're dealing with. Say, for example, maybe at this point, you're looking at a person maybe in hotel. If at all you type hotel at this point, you'll find that you'll have to run it all through the code. You see, you'll have to run all these through these levels. You'll have to run it through this level so that it will give you a specific, maybe what, a specific item. So if at all you come to level 1, we don't have anything like hotel in level 1. These are just the class codes. Level 2, maybe, that is at least where you can see you're having an item of hotel. So in this case, maybe you are in talk about medical industry. So maybe we talk about maybe hospital, for example. You search, you'll find that level 1, there's no any results appearing. That is level 2. You go to level 1, no results appearing. You go to level 3, no results appearing. You go to level 4, no results appearing. You go to level 5, no results appearing. So it'll be like, now in such a situation, what are you supposed to do? What are the keywords that you're going to use? And that's why this is a point whereby the code list that I guided you yesterday, this is where this code list will be very important. Because with that code list, you can come and search, of course, specific code. Say, for example, in this hospital, if you go to the code list that we said yesterday, and maybe you just type, say, like code name, maybe we're looking at hospital. You are in this industry. If you search hospital, at least it will give you a clue on the specific codes that you normally tend to have. You see? It will give you a clue on the specific code that you normally tend to have. So you'll find that at this point, check this one out. See, if you go to that code list, you can be able to get some specific item and a lead on what will be required to have. Like, compared to if you're just typing and in that event, maybe you find out that you don't have any specific code. You see, you'll be in a very big trouble. You'll be like, now, what are we going to do? But using this code list, it will really help us a lot. Because on this code list now, what you can do, if I told you to come on this area, if I told you to come on the items now, having the specific codes, of course, all I'll be able to do, I can come and type this code, maybe for hospital. Maybe I need, say, like, maybe we need, say, like, any item of a hospital. Maybe I can come and do, say, like, the specific codes for hospital are 421. Maybe I'll try search with 421 code. At least you see, I'm having now an idea, or it has fetched based on this list. I can literally break it down and say, because I need specifically for hospitals, maybe I can break it down and say 421 as for our code list, maybe 32 something. So that in this case, let us see. I get to level 5. I get to level 3. 42132. I go to level 2. I go to level 1. So that is to say, the best area that you can search with is using what? This code where we saw it was in level, was it level 4 or level 5? So at this point, you can literally search with this case now. See, at least you have that guide, maybe whereby if at all you're dealing with whichever item of hospital, say dental, now you can easily check it out at this point. See, you can easily check it out at this point. See, so that's why it is always important. You see that code list, it will really help you guys a lot. And these are area where probably you find that a lot of probably accountants, then they'll be like, which code am I going to use? Which code am I going to use? So instead of you being mixed up like that, the easiest way that you can do is to simply go ahead and, of course, talk about what? Look at what we've shared here in terms of the code. It will help you a lot to pick specific item that you want to do or that you want to pick. It will help us a lot. Okay? So after we have shared that, then in this case, we can check out the next item, which will also be important. So you come and check maybe code, like any other code, maybe safety. For example, this company that you're dealing with, it is on safety equipments, which is always like level 3. So for example, I do at that point, see, I can be able to see all the items that I need to select. So after considering this, all I'll be able to do is to simply come and pick, say, like safety control devices or whichever code that now you are looking at. So that once we have that in mind, it will be easy. I just come and, because I've picked this one, I'll come and do a search, which it will give us a specific item. So I'll just do it to confirm now. See? So once I have confirmed, it will purely, or it will directly pick on my, it will pick on our items that this is what I'm fetching. See? It will show that this is what we are fetching. So now the same procedure as we had used earlier on, which was yesterday on online, come and have the type. What are you dealing with? Maybe you're dealing with a finished product. Package. Maybe I'm talking about the package that we need to select. We say that default or the general one is net. Quantity unit, maybe the general one is number, but we mentioned it's just like the online one. But in this case, you can literally pick any item that I want to pick. So maybe pick the general one. On aspect of the tax type, we have 4 classes. We have exempt, category A, B, C, and D for items purposes. you'll find that when you select B, that is vatable, A is exempt, C is zero rated, whereas B is non-VAT. And that's why yesterday, when you were looking at our eCitizen e-teams, you realize that we had a component where we had B. See, B is showing that this is non-VAT. D will always shows that you're dealing with what? Non-VAT. So of course, that is what we saw yesterday when we were looking at the e-teams for that is under eCitizen. So at this point, what will be required to do is to select, maybe I'm dealing with vatable item. So it is important you realize that for online and what we did yesterday also under what we did yesterday under the item of online and the eCitizen, we didn't have the area to do with stocks. And that's why Molimo advised us that for stock purposes, you'll find that this will be ideal. This will be ideal. This will be ideal. This will be ideal. So you come and place your stock. If it is a new item, you place the stock that you're placing, say like 100. You come and select the origin. Where are we dealing, or where are we? We are in Kenya. So this product is literally from Kenya. We confirm. So once we are through with all this, manually now you can type the specific item that you're dealing with. Manually now you can type the specific item that you want to look at. The specific item that you want to look at right now. So in this case, you can type any item. Say like maybe I just pick one of the product here. Maybe say like dry powder. Maybe it is called dry powder. Maybe fire extinguisher. Fire extinguisher. Talk about normal service. These are service, so I'll have to select service, normal service. Let's just assume it's a product, because if it's a service, you can select a service at that point. If you're dealing with a product, you can select a product at that point. So assuming that maybe I'm dealing with a service, so you just select service, for example. And that is to say, service, you don't have any stock for service. You don't have any stock for service. So key area that we need to understand, this is also very important now, it is in regard to creating this specific item. So once you have filled in all the details, you see this button here, the new item. See this one area, this area that's showing new. So just click new. Then the item will auto-generate itself. The item code will auto-generate itself. The item code will auto-generate itself. So once you have that, all you need to come to do is to click on save. Do you want to save? Yes, you want to save. See? So what we've done, we've simply saved that item. So that's the first procedure of adding your item on your e-teams. That's the first procedure of adding your item or adding an item on your e-teams, which is always very, very important and very, very key. That step is very important. How to add items in our e-teams. Once we are through with that, the next step would be you need to know where your customers are, because this item you're going to sell them to your customers. So there is area to do customer management. What will be expected to understand on customers management is to add customers. Is to add the customers. To add the customers. These are, of course, what will be expected to have or understand at this point. How do you add your customers? How do you add your customers? So, to add our customers, of course, the following step will be important. To add the customers, the following step, of course, will be very important. All I'll be required to do is to simply come and click what? To simply come and click my customer management. Then you click your customer. This step is very important. This step is very important. We are adding our customers. We are adding our customers. We are adding our customers at this point. So under the type, these are what you realize that we do have what? Number one, we have the type non-individual. Non-individual now is the kind of basically just as it sounds, right? You look at a person, not a company. You look at a person, not a company. You look at a person, not a company. So we have that case, number one. We have to consider that part, non-individual, or you can select what this non-individual, that is a company, of course. You can select non-individual now. Individual now it is, I want to sell to specific, say like Sarah. I'll sell this item to Cynthia. I'll sell this item to maybe Aurelia or Betty. So this is individual. With the one, individual, always the code will always start with what? A. Will always start with A00 something, A00 something, like that. Whereas when we are talking about, of course, an individual, we'll always be talking about what? We'll always be talking about the aspect of P. Anytime you read about company or an individual, the P will always start with P. For individual, the P will always start with A. So it will depend with what you're dealing with. So that is very important to note. That is very, very important to note. That is very, very important to note. So once we have this in mind, then the next item to consider, maybe we say like you're dealing with non-individual, for example, at this point. We are dealing with, say, like non-individual. So at this point, we can have the PIN number, which I can do it practically here. We're having, say, like P0511 453 12J. That is P0511 45312J. This person is cooperative SACCO or savings. And credit society. So that is the name of the owner of the PIN. So once we have that, this person is from where? Say Kenya. So you just go to the origin, then you select what? The country that your client is coming from. Then you click confirm. You see? If at all you are having the email of the person, you have the email, the account based on, of course, the account number of this person, the bank address, all these details. You can always tend to fill them at this point. So once you fill in all the details, you can just come and do what? Click save. The code already exists. Means that this person is already in my system, which we can literally search the person and clearly you can get that person, whereby you can see here we have this person. See? If at all this person was not there, the moment you click save, it will just save this person on the system. But because he's there, so I won't save. But that's the procedure of creating a customer. So once you've created that customer, I'll be required to sell. Now, you have your item you've created plus the inventory. Now, you will be required to sell this item. You'll be required to sell this item. So how are we going to sell? To sell this item, we deal with sales management. Those who are writing probably the procedure, we're dealing with sales management. We deal with sales management. Sales management. Sales management. We deal with sales management. So under sales management, these are area now where we'll be required to do our invoice. This is an area where we'll be required to do our invoice. These are where we'll be required to do our invoice. So how will you go about doing our invoice? Kindly, these are the procedures. To do our invoice, probably tomorrow or maybe or maybe in a very near future, you'll be interacting with this, or some of you are probably as of now, maybe you normally interact with e-teams. For those who are not interacting with the e-teams now, I'm very certain in the near future, you'll be interacting with e-teams. So it is important that we master and understand the steps clearly. So we come and click new. We want to issue an invoice. Issuing an invoice, you've said you are to come to the sales management. Then we want to issue an invoice, so you create new. Do you want to create a new invoice? We say yes. Customer. Whom are we selling to? You select the customer. You can select the customer there. Customer that you want to sell this item to. See? At this point, maybe we come and select this kingdom. Or maybe let me select, let me check if at all I'm having my own pin here so that you can do it up to the last procedure. So just select that person because it's just the procedure to master. Then you come and click confirm. See? So once I'm on this, the system already will pick that this individual customer is on my system, and it will pick plus all the details of the individual. It will pick plus all the details of the individual. It will pick plus all the details of this individual. So once we have achieved this, of course, we'll go to the next segment. Remember, we started by creating an item because we have to sell what is in stock. You can't sell what you don't have. You have to sell what is in stock. So you come to the item code here. And the item code, you select, you see this, for example, this is an item that you created. So you come and select, say, like that specific item. Come and do what? Click confirm. Again, at this point, the knowledge that Mwalimu shared with us yesterday, you must make sure that your price is inclusive of VAT. You have to make sure that your price is inclusive of VAT. That is very important. Very, very important to note. So that we say, to avoid you not being fired, make sure that this item is inclusive of VAT. Just have to make sure that this item is inclusive of VAT. Because many accountants, they normally tend to make, of course, a mess here. So it is very important, of course, for us to always consider this item to be inclusive of VAT. Make sure that while you are inputting it in the system, it should be inclusive of VAT. So this is what we are doing. We put our item to be inclusive of VAT. Maybe for this purpose, I'll just put 1. Then I'm having sales quantity 1. Then confirm. So you'll find that it will pick here plus is VAT component plus the VAT component plus the VAT component. So once you're through with this process, what are you going to do? Once you're through this, now you can have as many items as possible. You can come and add as many items as possible on this list, or rather on the invoice, because remember, one invoice can have several items. One invoice can have several items. So we just make sure that we do what? We add all these items on this case. So once you are done with adding all the items, I just come and click save. So you'll find that this item is already there. But in this case, for it to be acknowledged, it has to be approved. It has to be approved. If at all you can recall, yesterday when I was guiding you, we talked about environment. And under environment is where we are creating, of course, talk about the aspect of the security aspects, or in terms of maybe the authorization that each and every user will be having. So only the user with that function of authorization is a person who can approve the invoice. Check here, it is telling you that, yes, you have created your invoice, but it has not been approved. It is awaiting approval. It is awaiting approval. So the person with that access, the person with this access is the person who will be required to do what? Who will be required now to approve. So at this point, you come and say you want to approve. So if at all you want to approve, go to this next step. You click what? Detail. See, first of all, you click the invoice itself. Then you come and click detail. I want us to go to the last step of approving it. So in this case, you can see these icons. Approve, all these other items are inactive. And where you're having a question, make sure you ask. So I want us to approve this invoice. I want us to approve this invoice. I want us to approve this invoice. I want us to approve this invoice of ours. I want us to approve this invoice of ours. So how will you go about approving? Just go directly and click approve. Come and do what? Come and click approve. Do you want to process invoice approved? It has to confirm, do you want to process this invoice? So that in the event that there's a mistake, you have to check, because once you're done with the approval, it hits carry directly that you've done transaction. It will hit carry directly that you've done what you've done transaction. So we have to confirm this. Do you really want to do this? Of course, you can click yes. So once you have this, the next step would be for me to print. Are you doing this transaction in cash? Are you doing this transaction on credit, cash credit, or other, or all these elements are going to be indicated here of how it's going to be paid or so. So many a times I always prefer cash credit because you never know when you're going to be paid mostly if at all this person is not doing cash. So I'll just do okay, then I print my A4 or print receipt. I'll do A4 so for the purpose of me to save. At this point, I can just decide to save this as a kingdom. So I'll just do say kingdom. Paste. Then I do save. So once I have saved this is now how you can go about it. You can come to that invoice that you just saved. You can come to the invoice that you just saved. Let me open for you. You can go to the invoice that you just saved and see what will happen. So this is the ITAX receipt now. This is the ITAX receipt that I'll be having. See? This is now the ITAX receipt, the one that we created right now. The one that we've just created. Of course, right now, that is just a moment here. What is that? So this is what we just created right now. See? So this is the invoice that we created, which at this point, of course, that barcode is very important. You can scan the way we did yesterday. You can simply scan the barcode. You can simply scan the barcode here. You can simply scan the barcode. You can simply scan the barcode. So you can simply scan that barcode. And in that case, of course, you can confirm it with the system, or rather with the KRA, that it is an invoice that it is existing. Many a times for portal, of course, because it is not linked directly or maybe on the real-time base, it is going to show you like an error server, meaning that it is still fetching on the KRA system. If you scan, you'll find that it will show us what? An internal server error. It means that this invoice is fetching on the KRA system. You can wait up to around 10 or so minutes. If at all it has not picked, there's a way that you can refresh, which I'm going to guide you. That is in regard to creating an invoice. What if you realize that at this point, you made a mistake on the invoice? What if you realize that at this point, what you've done, you've made a mistake on your invoice? What are you going to do? You have to issue a credit note. you have to issue what? You have to issue a credit note. You realize that maybe you've done a mistake on this invoice, you have to issue a credit note. So this is also another area that a lot of people, they normally tend to have an issue on ITINs, how to issue credit notes. How to issue credit notes. How to issue credit notes on ITINs. How to issue credit notes on ITINs. An area that, of course, a lot of people, they normally tend to have an issue with. How to issue a credit note. So how will you go about issuing your credit note? How will you go about issuing your credit note? Kindly, we follow this process. For those who are putting it down, you want to issue a credit note. So to issue a credit note, you go to that specific invoice that you realize you made a mistake. One of the limitations is that you can't issue a credit note on one specific item. It has to be the entire invoice. That is one limitation that ITINS has. You can't issue a credit note on one specific item, but rather you will be required to issue a credit note on the whole invoice. On the whole invoice, on the whole invoice, on the whole invoice. You see? You will be required to issue a credit note on the whole invoice. So you come to that specific invoice that you made a mistake on. You come to that specific invoice that you made a mistake on. All you'll be required to do here is to simply come and click the detail part. See? Under the detail part, you come and cancel the request. Believing that you're following the procedure, because this is, once you've done it, you can't redo it again. You said you come to that specific invoice. Let me just go back so that you can all follow. But for those who are putting it down, you said you come to this specific invoice. On that specific invoice, of course, you do what? You click detail. Then you cancel. Then you cancel. Then you cancel. Request. Okay? So in this case, you come and do what? Click yes. Okay? So you've canceled that request. You've canceled that request. Okay. You've canceled that request. You've canceled that request, but you've not issued a credit note. So issue a credit note now. So you click that specific. Yes, please.
I have a question on that part.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let me understand this. First, we've read the invoice, ikatumia KRA notification that we have raised an invoice.
Correct.
So for us to cancel this invoice, maybe it had an error, ama tulifanya error, we need to raise a credit to cancel it. So like we are canceling the request yenye ilitumwa KRA first for us to issue a credit note.
Exactly.
Okay.
You cancel that. Then after you cancel that, that is when you issue what? A credit note. So that on KRA it will pick that this item has been canceled. And the next step was, of course, you'll see how we're going to print it out. You click now, you're issuing a credit note. Because many times humans are to error, mistakes can happen. And if at all mistake has happened, you need to correct that immediately. Or maybe later on, you issue this, then the client will be like, you know what? I didn't want this, I want this and this and this. Of course, you have to issue that credit note, or rather to cancel that item completely on your system.
Mwalimu.
Is that okay, Sarah? Yes, please.
And how long does like that action applies?
Almost immediately.
Duration yake.
Almost, this is what you want to do now. It will cancel immediately.
Ndo nasema like ikishapita 2 days the client akwambia like ABCD, so like we need to, does it have a duration?
In that case, so long as it is within a span of 6 months, it will always be picked.
Okay.
So long as it is in a span of 6 months, it will be picked. After 6 months, you won't consider that again. Okay, you're going to forfeit whatever mistake that was done. It has to go with that mistake, and you have to pay for the same. But if at all it's being done within 6 months, that is okay.
Okay, thank you.
Great. So we do what we do, issue a credit note. Do you want to process the credit note for the invoice? Yes, we want to process. And therefore, in this case, we print out. In this case, I'll just come and say that whatever I'm doing, these are credit notes. Kingdom, test, credit note. So if at all you can come and check here, you see, it has canceled. It as if I've been refunded that value. There's a refunded, meaning that this has been canceled and credit note has been issued. And credit note has been issued, credit note has been issued, credit note has been issued. 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 Very important, very, very important. Credit note has been issued. So, number one, create an invoice. If there's an error, you need to cancel that invoice. And by canceling the invoice, you have to cancel and issue credit note all at once. Cancel and issue the credit note all at once. So you'll find that that step is always very important at any given point in time whenever we are dealing with our day-to-day transactions or activities. It will always come, it will always come, it will always come. So that is issuing credit notes and issuing invoice. I need a question kindly. Where you have a question, this is the best time to ask. So you proceed to the next item, which you can close this part. You're making sales, that is to say also you're doing what? There are some purchases that you're also making. So you come to the purchase management. Purchases for the purpose of you to claim what? To claim input. For the sake of you to claim input. For the sake of you to claim input. So purchases, same procedure just like invoice. So I'll be dealing with what? Goods purchased. Do you want to purchase an order? Create purchase orders, of course. The same procedure, you need to have your supplier. Assuming you had all the list of our suppliers there, you select the supplier that you're dealing with. Maybe that is my supplier. Come and click confirm. What is this person supplying you with? Item code. Maybe he's supplying us with dry powder. See? The same details. Purchase maybe one. VAT item. Okay. Product already expired. Please check expiry date. We didn't put expiry date there. where you are creating, see this, when you are creating our item, see on item creation, see this case. If at all, for you to claim, you must be having an expiration date at that point. And you can always tend to adjust anytime you're creating. For it to do it, for it to pick as part of the purchases. As part of the purchases. Procedure is just the same. If at all, we are having, of course, the item there. Where we're seeing that I need to pick, say, like an item with, let me see, there's an item that you created. First of all, you're having supplier, HAPA. I'm sure if at all you pick this. Okay, so you see, like these are products, which of course we had created the same earlier on. So unit price, again, how much have you purchased this item inclusive of VAT? Inclusive of VAT. Inclusive of VAT. Inclusive of VAT. So you have to put it there. Inclusive of VAT. Confirm. Already expired. Okay. Maybe you can put like expiry date. Maybe you can now say like 27th. Okay. You see? So what we are doing at this point, we are creating a purchase order, or simply the aspect of whatever that you purchase. Remember, with this auto-populated, of course, I'm going to show you that auto-populated just today. You'll find that how KRA now is working, we won't be putting these items manually. So that whenever we'll be filing a VAT, you see what you're recording here? It is exactly the same thing that once it has picked to KRA, all you'll be doing is just to download it in form of Excel. All that will always be required to do is download it in form of Excel. After you've downloaded it in form of Excel, that is when you're going to compare whatever sales that you had recorded and whatever purchases that you had recorded in terms of input. So that once that is done, then the system will just automatically give you the VAT that you're supposed to pay, or the VAT refundable or credit. They are doing this simply to help in tax evasion. Remember, purchases are items that you're supposed to claim. These are input. Imagine maybe I've done transaction with maybe Rukia today. We've done a transaction, say like maybe value of 500,000. Tomorrow, I want to file my VAT. Then I realize probably Rukia actually, at this point, he didn't input this in the system. So that is to say, for me, as a purchaser, as a buyer, I can't claim input. I can't claim input on this item. Why? I can't claim input on this item because, number one, KRA does not recognize that. Imagine that pain that I'm going to feel. It might also lead me not to do business with Rukia again, because why haven't you done this on eTeam so that I can claim? Why haven't you done this on eTeam so that I can claim? That is to say, if at all I could have saved 16% of the 500, I'm going to hold that. I'm going to incur that as an item to pay on my sales. As a business person, you'll find that you'll feel very bad. And it might even lead you not to conduct transaction again with KRA. And that is because that is what KRA wants. Like everyone should be compliant. In the event that you're not complying, then it will just pick Ula. You're not complying, and therefore there's nothing that you can do. You can't claim anything. You can't claim anything. You can't claim anything. You see? Or at times, maybe you try to file, then it'll be showing you like an error, or maybe you can't do VAT or so on. See? So purchases is very important. The same procedure, you can come and say like save. So in this case, of course, it has to be approved, but this one I'm not going to approve because this one will hit this client on the other end. So the same procedure for approving, you just click detail, then you come and do it, then you come and accept. Then you come and accept. But of course, this time I'm not going to click that because once I've done that, it will hit the other client direct. And it will appear on their books, which I only want it to appear there. So the procedure of purchases. And kindly, you can advise probably where you're working.
Mwalimu.
Yes, please.
Aki mwalimu nieleweshe hii maneno ya kuclaim. Where you've said that mtu asiporecord like purchases kuclaim inakuwa shida. Can you elaborate kindly?
VAT system works on output and input, right?
Yes.
So at this point, they was using like a Rukia. Rukia is a seller. I am the Aringo is a purchaser. So I bought these items from Rukia, right? Because Rukia is my friend. He told me that I'm going to buy what? I'm going to put this on items. So they are purchasing this item from Rukia, right? Yes, Sarah?
Yeah, so on your side, that one is output.
On my side, this is input.
You are buying.
I'm buying, yeah.
Yeah.
VAT on purchases is input.
Okay.
Okay? VAT on purchase is input.
Input,
so,
yeah.
On Rukia side, it will be output. So what I've done, I've conducted this transaction with Rukia. Rukia has not issued me with an items receipt because maybe we are friends. She tell me like, Aringo nitakupatia this invoice badai or later on. So, see, for me, I've recorded it on my normal system as well as purchases. But remember, it is not what? It is not an items receipt. I've not yet received a receipt from items. So, I'm filing my VAT, right? As at the end of that month. My output, whatever that I'd purchased, or rather whatever that I'd sold, maybe amounted to 1 million, for example. The VAT on that 1 million is maybe 160,000, for example. I must, or I'm having an input. Amongst all other areas that we purchased, Rukia was included there. So getting the 16% on these items, on this 500,000, it is 80,000. 16% of 500, it is 80,000. So ideally, if Rukia had issued me with an items receipt, I could have paid how much as VAT? VAT payable would have been the 16% of 1 million, that is 160. I could have paid how much? 160 minus 80. I could have paid 80,000. Now, Sarah, look at this impact. You don't have an items receipt that Rukia issued us. So KRA does not recognize the purchases of 500,000 that I had made, meaning that this 80,000 that I could have claimed, I cannot claim. So instead of me paying 80,000, I'll end up paying how much? The 160,000, because I cannot claim whatever that I purchased. Why? I don't have evidence. What is the evidence? Evidence is the items receipt.
Okay, Mwalimu. And for you to initiate this purchase, like you've bought from Rukia, is Rukia supposed to like initiate like the invoice first from her side? Ndio wewe sasa urecord your purchases, or where you can just record ni ile sasa you have to fuatilia mpaka raise that invoice?
The reason why it is going to refuse, because on ITAX, it will show that for me, I am claiming an item. It must correspond with what Rukia had filed. So if at all Rukia had not recorded that, it will be one-side effect. It will be, I'm the only one claiming, but Rukia do not recognize that transaction. That is how the system would pick. For me, I've recorded a purchase that I made this purchase from Rukia. But Rukia, in that case, she has not done on her end. So while picking on ITAX, it will show that, yes, you are claiming an input, but the person that you purchase this item from, he has not recognized these purchases. So that is why it is not going to reconcile on the system, and that's why it will reject.
Okay, so in short, Mwalimu, KRA gives the, like, you are doing transaction with you and Rukia. Exactly. So you will be the one who will be liable.
I'm the, no, not for me, I've done my part. It is Rukia's end that she has not done. So that is to say, the liability, or rather the burden of paying more taxes will be on me. The reason why Rukia was supposed to also record it on the system so that they should reconcile on ITAX that this transaction was complete, so that I'll be able to claim and reduce my VAT payable.
So itakuwa kama transaction has happened between you and Rukia, it will be like your responsibility to urge Rukia a record on the same for you at least to save some.
Maybe you can put it in that case, but ideally it is also supposed to be Rukia's responsibility because she has to declare the sales that she has done.
Okay.
She has to declare that these are the sales that we've done, or these are the sales that we've made. Okay?
Okay.
Get. So purchases is very important. Purchases is very, very important, or it is always very important for you or for us to consider that question.
A question to follow up on that. Sarah is asking, so what will be the impact?
What will be?
What would be the impact on Rukia? Like, she didn't record the purchase.
The sale.
You recorded the purchase. So,
and
you recorded the purchase. So, does she go scot-free? What happens?
And that's why you'll find that you're going to receive that email that will tell you maybe there is VAT inconsistency. So this item has been filed. So KRA will request you to acknowledge that item or not. So it is upon you now to acknowledge and see this is the item that was done. You acknowledge it, or this was not done. So you have to consider the same. So it will be the impact on you. At least you're going to receive that notification that this has been done with your name. Are you aware? But the person who suffer mostly, it is the purchaser, because he was supposed to claim, but he cannot claim.
So if I say I'm not aware, the purchasers still have to pay the 160.
Exactly. It is going to be recognized like that is not a recognized purchases. So the purchaser will have to pay the 160,000.
But there'll be no fine for me, right?
Or as a seller.
Yeah.
As a seller, in that case, of course, you have to declare it, because for sales, there's that period of declaration for at least 6 months. You can declare it probably the next month, or that you can declare it probably the following month after that case.
Oh, okay.
Right? You can always declare it at any given point in time after, so long as it is within 6 months.
Mwalimu. Mwalimu.
Yes, Sarah?
If I'm getting the question right, Anauliza, she's asking Like I'm the seller, I've been requested to acknowledge the purchases. Is there like nitakuwa penalized? Nitakuwa penalized for like not recording that purchase.
In that case,
Will I be penalized?
You won't be penalized.
As a seller?
You won't be penalized, not unless there's an audit that is being done.
Okay.
Great. So that is purchase management. Purchase management. You have this another area, import management, whereby at this point is this whereby maybe we are fetching this data from a particular system, and of course that is what you're talking about the other time, whereby probably the systems are linked in a way. The systems are linked in a way, so I'll just be doing, of course, I'll just be importing this data from a particular system. See, I'll just be importing this data from a particular system. That is, of course, when you're talking about what you did yesterday, the virtual aspect of when you're looking at the virtual teams, whereby it is being connected with various or with multiple systems. So many times in this case, for portal, in this case, you would be interacting with this a lot. We have another area, it is on the stock management. Very important. Stock management. Stock management. So the like QuickBooks, like any other system, you can't sell what you don't have. You see? You can't sell what you don't have. You can't sell what you don't have. So if you realize that you are selling an item, if you realize that you are selling an item, and selling this item, probably it is not, you don't have enough stock, how will you go about it? This is where stock management will come in. You have to, all these are our stock management: opening, closing, stock status, stock in history, stock out history. All these are the items that you're supposed to have. Majorly, I'll consider the opening and closing. So these are the items that you're having. See, assuming, let us go and assuming we want to sell this is an addressable panel. You see, I'm having an item in store, I'm having only 2 units. I want you to see this practically. We have these 2 units. So I want to go and sell this item, sales management. I want to go and sell this item. I'm selling it to, say, like Kingdom. Addressable panel. Maybe I'm selling, say, like 10. Allow me to see that effect. Normal case, we save. So when you are selling this item, that is, of course, addressable panel. If we come to approve, see the effect. Do you want to proceed? You see, it is telling you that the sales quantity is greater than the current stock quantity. You don't have enough. Therefore, you can't sell an item that you don't have on the system. You can't sell an item that you don't have on the system. You can't. Utakuwa unauza hewa. You can't sell an item that you don't have on the system. So what are we supposed to do? In the event that you realize that you want to sell an item and you don't have this item on the system, quickly, you'll be required to adjust. Quickly, you will be required to do what? You'll be required to adjust. 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 So, how? How will you do this? So, to do this, it will be very simple and easy. How will you go about it? You come and, of course, consider the item that you'll be having here. You see, you don't have enough because your stock is not enough to cater for these items. So you come and accept. I don't have enough. Unakubali matokeo, you can't approve. So what are you going to do? You have to come to your stock management. You have to come to your stock management. And here is what you have. You see the addressable panel. So you have to adjust this stock. By adjusting, how will you go about it? You come and click at that point, addressable panel. Then you adjust. You see this area here? Adjusting. So let me remove this. You see this area? This area here, adjust. You click adjust. Do you want to adjust the stock? Yes, I want to adjust stock. How do you want to adjust the stock? Inward or out? In or maybe out. I want to adjust this item in, meaning that I'm bringing in inventory. I'm bringing in inventory. Reason, I want to sell. I want to sell. I want to sell. How many units do you want to adjust with? Maybe I'm bringing in 100 units. Save. So that now you can see you have adjusted your stock. Initially you had 2, but right now you have what? 1 or 2. Right now you have 1 or 2. Right now you have 1 or 2. See, my current stock now, it is 1 or 2. So that invoice that we had, we can now go and approve it, but we won't approve it. It will bring a lot of questions. There's a transaction of 10. Yeah, because remember, anything that you're doing, it is eating KRA system. So in this case, of course, now you can come and easily approve this case, but Mwalimu is saying won't approve it right now. You see, now you come to your sales management with a lot of confidence. You can click detail, then you can go and approve it because now you have enough stock to sell. Because now you have enough stock, do you have enough stock to sell? You have enough stock to sell. For approval, maybe before even you approve, you can always print it out. You can come and, of course, print out just to see. This is, if at all, without approval, you can always have it here. Maybe this is, I just save it, sales test, so that you get the difference. This is an invoice, but it has not been approved. This is an invoice, but it has not been approved. See how it will appear. See how it will appear. An invoice, but it has not been approved. So that you get the difference. See, this is an invoice that has not been approved. an invoice that it has not been approved. An invoice that it has not been approved. So click that. So this is an invoice that has not been approved. Let me scroll it down. This is an invoice that has not been approved. You see, it doesn't have the barcode. So it is still within our system. It is still within our system. You can issue it out as a pro forma. It has not been approved. It's just an invoice, but it has not yet been approved. See? So this is what you can do. This is what we can, this is what you can do. It has not yet been approved. See? So that is a way that you can always confirm your invoice by adjusting, of course, and check it out. So whatever that we've done on this process was simply that journey of ITIMS. The journey of ITIMS, making sure that everything is right. So step number one, we've said it is for us to come and, of course, do what? Create users and the environment and give them the authorization in areas that they'll be required to access. Step two, it is item management, where we have to create our items. Step three, it is customer management, where we'll be required to create our customers. Sales management, this is where we'll be required to, of course, create our invoices, approving our invoices, generating that as well. We have purchase management, where we're dealing with the sales, with the purchases, of course. Import management is if at all I want to fetch from a specific system. Stock management, where we are required to always adjust our items. You're going to interact with this system a lot. If at all you're in this, not unless there's a regime that again will come and phase out ITIMS. But the way as it is, system is the way to go, or rather ITIMS is the way to go. And many companies, of course, are adopting the same. Many companies are adopting the same. Many companies are adopting the same. So that is very important. That is very, very important to note. That is very, very important for us to always note. For us to always note. So I need a question there. I need a question kindly. Where you feel you're having a question is the best time to ask. Any question?
Well, you might have a question.
Yes, please.
Suppose tumesha enter hizi data. When are we supposed to file now? To file them?
That is where we are going.
Okay.
That's where we are going. That's where we are going.
Oh.
Great. So whatever that we've done is literally the first process. And many times you'd find that from now henceforth, all these items, of course, will always be considered in terms of auto-populated. Auto-populated, that is in a case whereby we are looking a case whereby all these things have been done on ITIMS. Whatever that you're supposed to do is to simply do what? Is to simply fetch it out and file. You fetch and file. You fetch and file. Fetch and file. So that's
another
yes. Question.
Okay, let's say an organization such as a supermarket. You find that there's an interaction between we have suppliers who are supplying us with the product that we are selling, and at the same time we have customers who are buying the inventory. So in that case, how do we handle it in ITIMS?
How do you handle what?
I'm saying, like a supermarket, you can still, like, we have two people. We have suppliers who are supplying the products. And we also have customers who are buying the products. So how do we handle it in such a case?
You have
Like
customer
with
supplying. The customer, they do the supply and they purchase.
Like you are my supplier. I'm the owner of the supermarket. You are supplying me with the products I'm selling. And then me, I'm selling it to the customers when you're tuna display kwa shelf wanaokota. So how is it working with e-teams?
See, that is that's just a normal transaction. That is, they are sales and they are purchases. So sales are output, purchases are input. Or I'm not getting your question clearly? Because right now you have purchased an item from me being the supplier, right? On your end, as a supermarket, these are purchases. You have recorded it on the system as purchases. With these purchases will attract what? Input, right?
Yes.
Then this customer will come and purchase an item. These are the sales that you're making. You're going to record these sales as the sales on your end, right?
So Mwalimu, the question is, you understand kwa supermarket, like we have various customers.
Correct.
Like no like you like you input the data for like sales au nini wote. How can it be possible? Alafu pia in a supermarket there are so many suppliers. How can we manage that?
Remember yesterday, this is what we said. Let me just take you back to what we did yesterday. I think it's a question I answered that we were talking yesterday when you're looking at on this case. Let me take you to the types of course, e-teams that we have. So these are what we said yesterday, that we have various forms of course, e-teams. And we use that example of the supermarket. So you find that for supermarket, there's no time that you're going to be asked, of course, and you're going to be asked of your KRA PIN. You'll never be asked of your KRA PIN. So you'll find that what supermarket normally have, they normally tend to have this solution. You see, the system-to-system integration, the online sales control or the virtual sales control, whereby the e-teams APIs are integrated on their system. So that once you go and purchase there, you just pay, it will be taken, or rather it will be passed through barcode. After it has been passed through the barcode, what is it going to happen? At the end of the day, you find that you just be issued with a receipt, which is e-teams compliant. They have not taken your PIN, they have not taken anything else. So in this case, this solution is what you're referring to as either the online sales control unit and virtual sales control unit. And yesterday we mentioned that a good example is that of a supermarket, whereby you never be asked, of course, of your PIN. Or we also talk about a hotel, maybe a big hotel whereby clients are coming in and out. You won't be having like only one e-teams to use. You find that it is one system integrated with different POS, point of sales. So that solution, Sarah, is the online sales control unit, whereby in this case, once you made a sale, it will automatically pick on e-teams backend that this sales has been done. Once you purchase items, of course, the purchase system, or rather on the purchasing department, of course, the same system has been patched. So anytime they are making purchases, of course, it will just pick. And that's why you'll find that these are always ideal for bulk payment, or rather bulk transactions. So that solution is this solution here, Sarah. Okay? So this one will be integrated. We won't do it manually here, the way we are doing it manually at this point. This is going to be integrated within what? Within the system, which will just be inputting, then the figures will just be picking directly and automatically. Is that okay?
Thank you. Yes.
Great. Now we go to the next step. We go to the next step. We go to the next step. We go to the next step, where now we read about what? Filing these returns on, of course, on what? On ITAX. So we just open our ITAX here. Just a moment here. Let me select a pin that you can use. I'll select a pin that you can use. So we check it out. So we have it here. I'm selecting the pin that you can use. This is not registered. I want a pin that is registered. Yeah, I think we can use this. So the next step is after we've done all the items that we've done on e-teams, now the most important area, it is on aspect of filing these returns. Remember earlier on, we were dealing with a purely manual, whereby we are just downloading that Excel workbook, we fill it, and then we submit it. But with this e-teams era, things will just be auto-populated. So these are what you're doing. These are what you're doing. We should be having this case. So you go to our ITAX. I don't know if at all anyone who has, of course, or rather, all of us who can join. You can of course join. We can log into ITAX, because I know all of us, we must be having our KRA pin. All of us, you must be having our KRA PIN. So in this case, I think we can just use this one anyway. So we can all go to our ITAX. All of us, you must be having KRA PIN. All of us, you must be having our KRA PINs. Yeah, all of us, you must be having our KRA PINs, I know. All of us, you must be having our KRA PINs. So when you go to ITAX, of course, you enter your PIN, you enter your password. At this point, the security bit you need to fill so that you'll be able to log in. You'll be able to log in. We will be able to log in. Yeah, we'll be able to log in. We should be able to log in. Should be able to log in. Once we have logged in, of course, we have various items here. Our focus will be on the returns. So you come to returns. At least try to make that effort. So I know maybe you might not be having the VAT obligation, but just try to make the effort of logging in. Just try to make the effort of logging in. I know you might not be having, of course, the VAT obligation, but using your eTIMS, just try to log in. Using your eTIMS, not eTIMS, but using your KRA password and, of course, your PIN, just try to log in so that you can have this experience. So that you can have this experience, so that you can have this experience, yeah? So that you can have this experience. So once you've logged in, of course, you come to returns. Under returns, we come to before all this, and of course still can be done again, we used to download this file, but we're going to download it for the purpose, of course, of following the case. But right now, what is happening, there is auto-populated VAT return, see? Whereby once you have clicked this, of course, after selecting the period, so you know hours you had already filed the same, so probably it might not pick, but we just pick it out. Let us do like a return period from say 1st November to 30th November. all you can do is just to download auto-populated VAT return. Whatever that you've been doing on items, both sales and purchases, it was recording on the KRA portal. So what you need to do, you just need to download this and see what has been recorded. So let me open this. It is downloading. So whatever that you've been doing all through the month, of course, it has recorded automatically, and your case will just be a matter of what? Be a matter of confirming. So let this open. So once it has done, these are what it has downloaded. So if at all you've been doing transaction all through the month, after downloading this form, it will clearly tell us all the items that you'll be doing all through the month. That is in terms of the basic information, of course, it will pick. Generated sales, whatever that you'll be doing all through the month, it will pick here. It will show all the sales plus the purchase, where we purchased, of course, or rather the purchase of the items. You see? The ETR serial number, now it is the items number that will pick. So it is going to pick all these details. It's going to pick all the details that we've done through the month. Zero rated items, exempt sales, general sales. Now where we are recording the aspect of purchases, you see? Whatever that you are recording all through, it is going to pick at this point. It is going to pick at this point. So your task will just be a matter of confirming if, of course, I'm sharing this document with us. So your case will just be a matter of confirming if whatever that has been submitted is correct. Including the VAT payable. If you go to this sheet, the VAT due, you just be picking whatever that has been filed here. See? You just pick whatever that has been filed, and in this case, your task will be simple. To confirm if at all it is correct based on your bookkeeping. So that the next step after this, of course, you're going to do the manual one, which is a document that I think I shared earlier on for VAT. That's the document that you're going to use. So after that is now when you can come and, if there are any adjustments that you've done, you just come choose file and upload the file. See, and upload the file. Agree to the terms, then submit. This is the auto-populated, but there is, of course, the manual way, how things have been done before. So what I'm going to do, let me share this file with us. On your VAT filing, you'll find that we have this item, which is indicating recommended. See, recommended. So that is what we need to download. So let me share this document with us on, let me share on the Zoom chat. Let me share this document on the Zoom chat right now. I'm sharing this on the Zoom chat right now. The VAT 3, kindly confirm I've shared on the Zoom chat. Confirm that you've received that document. Confirm that you have received on the document I've shared. Kindly confirm.
Yes, we have received.
Great. So that is a zip file. So you must be using your phone, not phone, but PC for it to open. That's a zip file. So if you open our zip file here, there's that VAT return file. So it is almost similar to what we had downloaded as auto-populated. So these are what you'll be having. Where we will be required to fill in, of course, all these details. The PIN of the company. We have to fill the PIN of the company. At this point, maybe it is, say, P009 21226, probably M. I don't know if at all it has reached the 11 mark. We're just picking a PIN. So maybe you can just have the PIN. We select the type of return, original, entity type, head office, return period. You select the period that you are looking at. Say if it is November. Resident. Are you a resident with no fixed place of business? I'm not. Are you an unresident with no fixed place of business? No. So that one, of course, it is not a must to have, or but that's why it doesn't have the red asterisk. So once you fill in the basic info of the taxpayer, you come to the general cells, general rated cells. You see all the items that you've been doing on items. Of course, the file extract that you're having is what you're supposed to have it here. The exact file extract that you're having on our items. It is what you're supposed to have here with all the details of our supply, with all the details of of course, those who have purchased from us, of our customers. If at all they are non-registered, it will pick non-registered. So how we used to do, in this case, like the way, for example, what supermarket will pick, supermarket will pick customers not registered for VAT, the question that Sarah was asking. Because at this point, everyone will just come. Everyone will just come. Everyone will just come. So you put the total sales that you've done for the period, maybe assuming 2 million. You have it at that point. These are general rated sales. General rated sales are the ones subjected to 16%. Are the ones subjected to 16%. Zero rated are the ones that, of course, are not subjected, or they are subjected to 0%. So at that point, we have the zero rated sales are like maybe you're doing exports, and so you see, or so whenever you're dealing with exports many a times are the items that will fall as zero rated sales. Exempt sales, of course, they are the sales that are not subjected to VAT at all. So you need to identify, and that's why also on e-teams, you realize that we had those that are not registered, those that are registered for VAT, the exempt sales as well as zero rated. So the same concept you're going to follow at this point. So you fill in all the details required. In regard to the general purchases, these are items that you purchased and they were recorded. Items that you purchased and they were recorded. So how will you go about it? On the type of purchases, I want us all to go there. Type of purchases. If you click the drop down, we have this category: local, import, and digital supply. So maybe you're dealing with local. If you click local, you'll see what will appear here. This, of course, will change automatically. Or is it not supposed to change? And our area where we can input our, just a moment, this should be local. So just a moment, I don't know why that is not opening. When you click that, it should pick, of course, it should just pick automatically anyway. So that we try with this, just a moment. When you click local, is yours opening? The gray area should disappear, because once it is gray, it means that you can't edit. Confirm if yours is picking.
Yes, mine is picking.
Yeah, I don't know what is happening with my Excel. It should pick, actually. It should pick. It should pick. It should pick. So just a moment here. Let me check. I think there should just be something with my. A moment here. It should pick, actually. I know my Windows, these Windows I'm using at times, it always has that issue, but let me try opening this, try to resolve it and see. Come on. I know you should pick at least. You should pick. Just a moment here. Make sure that yours are picked as I'm solving this bit. Once you clicked local, that area is supposed to, of course, change and give you an option where you can input, of course, suppliers. So this is what Mwalimu is saying. So on local here, you see on this bit, if you select local, the area to input the pin of supply will appear. If you select import, you realize that the custom area will appear. See, the custom area will appear. The custom area will appear. This is a custom area, of course. I don't know, it is not loading fully, but the custom area will appear. So it depends with the type of purchases that you are dealing with. It depends with the type of purchases that you are dealing with. Say, for example, maybe we are dealing with the locals. Once you have your locals at that point, you realize that I'll be required to put the pin of my supplier, which maybe I'll be having, of course, you can just put the pin of your supplier, you can just have any pin, name of supplier, the invoice date, invoice number, description of the goods. If it is custom, you just leave it blank, then you have the VAT area here. So this, remember, you can put manually if at all you're having a single, maybe, or maybe few suppliers. But if you're having a lot of suppliers, you can't be doing this manually. You can't be doing this manually. And that's why there's a document that I shared in the group for VAT. Check in the group, there's a document that I shared. There's a document that we shared, of course, in the group. There's a document that we shared in the group. There's a document that, of course, we shared in the group. Remember that document that we shared for VAT? Check in the group, we shared a certain document. Is that document that we shared in the group for Excel? The CSV, the VAT file, November 2024. Still, this can be shared because I remember I shared this in the group. Still, this can be shared. Yeah?
I cannot see it.
Can be shared again. Let me share. There's a CSV file that was shared. It has been shared in the same file, of course. What I can do, I can as well attach it here in the group chat. Can you confirm? It has been reattached in the group, in the Zoom. So that document, you'll find that we think that when you're dealing with a number of suppliers, maybe you're having a huge set of maybe a lot of suppliers, you can't be doing this manually. You can't be doing this manually. And that's why that document that I've shared, or that was still, it was shared, is the same document that I want us to use to do something here. How would you go about, of course, putting the bulk? How are you going about putting the bulk? How will you put the bulk supplies? Maybe you're having many supplies, of course, in your farm. So this is a document. Let me open it. This is a document, assuming you're having a lot of suppliers, you see? Assuming you have a lot of suppliers, and probably in that case, you won't be having that chance of putting them one by one. Can you confirm that you have this document, please?
Yes, I have it.
Good. You find that maybe you
Well,
might be
can I
dealing.
request you to send the first one also?
The first one, it is on the chat. It is on
On phone I can't be able to view it.
on phone.
Yeah, so I've rejoined again with the laptop. I need you to resend.
Okay, sure. The VAT free form file, right?
Yeah.
Let me close this so that you can share. And so sharing it back. There you go, it has been shared. Can you check, confirm?
Yeah, thank you.
Great. So this file, I'm having a lot of clients here. See, the way it is, these values should always be exclusive now of VAT. Make sure that this data in terms of your values are exclusive of VAT. They should be exclusive of VAT. And how your data should be arranged, your data should be arranged exactly as what we normally have here. See? Exactly as what we normally have in our sheet, where we are talking about the type of purchases, PIN of supplier, name of supplier, invoice date, invoice number, description of the goods. Then before the value, because it is custom, make sure that you leave a blank space there. Then H, this value should be exclusive of VAT. So our item, our Excel should be in that format as well. So our Excel should also be in that format. Excel should be in that format as well. Type of purchases, PIN of supplier, name of supplier, invoice date, invoice number, description. Then at this point, we should be having this. It has taken us up to confirm. That is H. So you read about type of purchases, name, invoice date, invoice number. Let us see. Invoice. This is make sure that it is in line, of course, with what we have. It is in line with what we have.
You should introduce another column between GH.
Yeah, once you have to know that, and in this case, you're having type, PIN, name of supplier, tag, invoice date, we're having invoice number, we're having description of goods, we're having G I think is blank. If at all you can check it out well. A boy highlight G should be blank.
Yeah, it's blank.
Yeah, because that is because I don't have exports. So G, you just leave it blank, because if at all you can check on your VAT 3, that area is gray area. It's a gray area. It's a gray area. So make sure that this data is saved on your machine where you're going to access it clearly. That data is saved on your machine where you're going to access it clearly, so that when you're filing, or rather when you're submitting this, you come on your part 3. Part 3 is that Excel that we downloaded from ITAX, the one that we shared. This is part 3. So on the general rated purchases, of course, we can delete that first, and we delete that area. So that all that you want to do, we want to import. Say, come and import CSV. Go to that specific file that we had. I don't know, mine was on downloads or desktop. Let me see. Go to that specific file. Go to that specific file. Go to that specific file. So you select that specific file that you're dealing with, then you just open. So once you open, you realize that instead of you inputting this data one by one, it will just load all the data in your VAT 3. See, it will load all your data there. It will load all your data there. So instead of you inputting one by one, which is a wastage of time, you can just have it in Excel CSV. And in this case, you do what? You just upload it all at once. Make sure that you're achieving this result. Make sure that you're achieving this result. Make sure that you're achieving these results. Make sure that you're achieving these results. Are we all achieving these results? Are you able to import this successful? Have you managed to import this successful? I need to hear from you guys. I need to hear that you've managed to import this successfully on our part 3.
Mine requires me to enable macros.
Enable it then.
I'm
Just
able
click
to,
enable.
I'm able to import it.
You managed?
Yes.
Great. Cynthia's managed. Betty? Have you managed? Sarah Rukia, confirm that you managed to import.
Yeah, I've
Yes, I
managed.
have.
Mhm. So if it's showing macros, have you enabled macros?
Yes. I'm enabling.
Rukia on your end, have you managed?
Not yet.
So what is it showing you on your end? What are you able to view on your end? It's showing you what?
Um,
Okay, so I just follow. I'm not sure what it's showing because I needed to guide based on what was showing. But ideally, to enable macros, you just come to your file. To enable macros, you just come to your file at that point, of course. You come to the other area here. You come to options, of course. Under option, you come to Trust Center. Under Trust Center, you click Trust Center Settings. Then you come to Macro Settings. Then Enable. If at all it is not, if at all this item is not checked, just check that item. Check this item. Enable will be macros. Just check it out. Then you click OK.
yeah, I've enabled. It's still telling me the same thing.
So you have to close it first. If at all you've clicked enable, just close it and open it again.
Okay.
Close and open it again. So all of us, we should fetch this data. So once you fetch this data, of course, because it was exclusive of VAT, it will calculate for us the VAT automatically. It will calculate for us the VAT automatically here. See? It will calculate for us the VAT automatically at this point. And how now the auto-populated has worked. You see, if at all you had the data on auto-populated, it will bring the exact data being fitted from the ITAX, whatever has been filled on ITAX. So it will bring us such this data, so that whatever that we require to do maybe is to just confirm. If at all we had the data on that company for auto-populated, it was supposed to bring us like the whole data being auto-filled on your Excel VAT3, so that your task will just be to confirm. Your task will be just to confirm. So that after that case, we proceed to this item here. If at all you're having zero-rated purchases, you can always input. Exempt purchases, you can always input, including imported VAT services. So I just want us to jump on this end. The VAT payment credits, of course, probably, if there are items VAT that you paid in advance, they can always be indicated at that point. Rarely, of course, we will pay VAT in advance. Withholding VAT as a result of what was subjected in advance, that is based on what I'll be having here. And majorly at this point, it will also show, you'll find that with this new system, it's supposed to pick automatically from the system. That one now, in this case, you can't do anything. It has to pick, if at all there's a VAT withhold, it will, initially, we used to fill it manually here. But as it is now, it will auto-populate, it will pick automatically. It will pick automatically. Then you come to your cells. Of course, where we were talking about the output and the input. So you can see that my output, or rather my output VAT, you see, amount of output VAT. VAT output is simply the VAT on cells. VAT on cells. VAT on cells. Then we have, of course, the aspect to do with input VAT on purchases. VAT on purchases, VAT on purchases, VAT on purchases, VAT on purchases, VAT on purchases. So that when you come to VAT due here, you'll find that it will give us, it will calculate for us automatically. It will calculate for us, number one, the aspect of output minus input. So you can see we're having a credit because my input is more than our output. The VAT on purchases is more than the VAT on sales. That's why you're having a credit. That's why you're having a credit at this point. That's why you're having a credit. That's why you're having a credit at that point. A credit is where you're having a negative value. A credit is where you're having what? You're having a negative value. So, come and talk about credit brought forward. If at all last period also I had the same thing, at all last period you also had a credit balance, you can also put that credit balance there. If at all last period you had a credit balance. Withholding VAT, of course, there are those clients who normally withhold VAT. There are those clients who normally withhold VAT, and they submit this on our behalf early in advance. So after subjecting this on our behalf, it is going to pick on the KRA system that already it has been submitted. All that will be required to do here is to simply what? Add that or insert that area. So that once you're through with that, all you'll be required to do now is to click what? Validate. So I want you guys to click validate. Please be informed that you have to declare exempt cells in sheet. Oh no, if not declared, it's supposed to be, it didn't have anything. So we have to go to that area. Let us go to the area that they are telling us to go. So we have to go to that area that they are telling us, of course, to go. I need to remove this bit here, only showing. So you have to go to that area where they're telling us, of course, to go. So we didn't have anything on exempt, but you can just put, we didn't put anything here. You can just have 0. And exempt, you can have 0 as well. Just going to put 0, 0. It is weird, it's not supposed to show us that. So that you can just click validate error found on the sheet. Check where the error is, just click OK. So there's a pin of supplier. Of course, this was the random pin that you're just picking. Pin of the supplier. See, this pin is not okay. So remember, these were just random pin that we were selecting. So we check the error, which is telling us. So these are, of course, pin of the supplier. which we've gone and corrected the same. Invoice date. Now, this is where we're having the error in terms of the invoice date. So the date format should be in this case. You see, date, month, year. So in such a case, how would you go about it? In such a case, what are you going to do? In such a case, what are you going to do? You'll find that you're having an error with the date. You'll find that you're having an error with the date. Many a times, of course, you'll find that one can be tempted and use this method of adjusting one by one, which many a times might waste you a lot of time, assuming you're having 1,000 transactions. You can't do one by one. So the best way that you can do is to make sure that you've come and you want to delete all these details of hours. You can simply highlight and we want to delete all these details of hours. Or you can just close this and open again because you want to change the date format. You have two options of deleting all these details all at once. Deleting all these details all at once. By deleting, you just click shift direction down. To delete, shift direction down. Shift direction down. Then you scroll up to that point. You click shift, then that case there so that you delete. We're deleting all the data. Delete all your data. We are saying you click shift, direction arrow to select, then you scroll up to the last point, you click shift while pressing that to highlight everything. Then you just delete. So that because we've noted that there's an issue with our date. There's an issue with our date. So we can't do one by one. The easiest way that you can always correct your date is by following this procedure that Mwalimu wants to share with us here. There is procedure that Mwalimu wants to share with us of changing the date all at once. Changing the date all at once. So let us go to our original. Let us go to our original file. Let us go to our original file. Let us go to our original file. We go to our original file. So on our original file, one that we had earlier on our original file, this is a magic that I want us to perform. So that we have it here. We have it here. We have it here. Highlight this area. highlight this area, here. So Control Shift, direction down to select all the date. Control Shift, direction down to select all the date. Control Shift, direction down to select all the date. Then on this case, you come to your area on this ribbon of hours, you click, come to custom. We want to go to custom. On custom, we want to change our date. See? Select where you see your date. Select up to the point where you're going to see your date. So on our date, because mine is in this format, I'll just do the same, BD, that is month, date. It depends on how your Excel format of the date is. So that once you click OK, you realize that what it will do, it will put all my dates into the 2 digits form. You see? It will put all my dates into the 2 digits form. I repeat again. To change the date format of your Excel, you highlight your case, the date column. By highlighting all at once, just click Control Shift direction down. Control Shift direction down. Control Shift direction down. Then you come to a ribbon of adjusting the date. You come to custom. See? You come to custom. Under custom, you scroll where we have our date. Under custom, you scroll where we have our date. So our date, it is at this point here. MMDD, year. Then you do what? You click OK. Make sure that it is in 2 forms. DD, year. You click OK. Then you do what? Then you save your data. You save. So once we have saved, you can come back to your VAT3 and upload it afresh or export it afresh. Just come to where we had, of course, our general purchases. And in this case, we just import this file afresh again, where you had saved it. You come and import it again, where you had saved it. You import it again. So you'll find that you'll have changed the date format all at once. You'll have changed the date format all at once. You'll have changed the date format all at once, so that even if you come to validate now, you'll see this effect. If you come to validate now, probably it will show us one error, which was what? For the PIN of the supplier, which now we just change that. It was number 99. We just change. Then you come and validate. You come and validate. You come and validate. So that your file should be able to validate. Make sure that you are there. Kindly take your time, make sure that you're there. So make sure that you are all there. Make sure that you are all there. Make sure that you are all achieving that. Make sure that you're all achieving that. Make sure that you're all achieving that. Make sure that you're all achieving that. So that we can just do what validation now. We can just do validation. You can just do validation now. You can just do validation. I think that is now, this is now my Windows showing this error. So that one is now purely my Windows. Let me try again. I know it had that issue. But yours should pick, if at all you follow that exact data, yours should pick. Yours should pick. Yours should pick automatically. Yours should pick automatically. Yours should pick automatically. You know, mine will show that because of my Windows disable jack. Just a moment here. 9-time error. What have I deleted? Yours should pick automatically.
Mine is telling me, please be informed that you have to declare exempt sales in sheet exempt sales.
Your exempt sales, go and put 00 there. That one we had put it earlier on. Under exempt sales, just come under exempt. You see under exempt here, then put 0 there. As well as under 0 rated, come and put 0. Put 0 there.
Okay.
Put 0 there. Then you go and check, go and validate. Go and validate. Just go and validate. But ideally, once this, I know I had an issue with my window. Just a moment here. I'll try if this will work again. But yours should work well. If at all you follow the procedure, yours should work very well. Let me try and adjust this. And for those who are using Windows 11, you are facing the same issue. If at all you're using Windows 11, you must be facing the same issue. So let me just try here once more. Because the next thing here is just to file. After this is just to file. After here is just to file. 01. I'm just inputting it again. So let me show you what I'm doing so that So generated sales, of course, you had to input a figure of, and just put any value, 2 million. Zero rated, we have 0 there. Exempt sales, we have 0 there. General purchases, we come and import our CSV. Come and import our CSV. After importing our CSV, we come direct to where we were. If I told you had a credit, you said you can put a credit. At that point, if I told you had any aspect of withholding, we put. Then you said you validate the error of the PIN, withholding tax, total credit amount. What have we done here? So you said 0, right? This one is 0. That one is 0 because you said we don't have any value for withholding. So this PIN, this should be 99, where remember it is showing an error of the PIN because of this space. Because of this space. So on that case, so on validation now, that's what I'm saying. For those who are using 11, Windows 11, you must be facing something like it will just click validation correct. It will run the validation. Do you want to generate auto upload? You click yes. You see that modifications are not saved, upload file not generated. You can save this workbook with the same name with another open, or add in, choose a different name. So just do okay. Are you getting this error? If at all you're using Windows, I've seen this with the Windows 11 a lot. So there's something that you just need to run, but ideally, once done, you'll find that this file is what you're supposed to come and upload here. That file is what you're supposed to come and upload on our ITAX. Once the validation is successful, because that is the only file that, of course, will be required to come and validate at this point. That file is what we will be required to come and validate in our, or rather to upload in our ITAX. Let me just show you. So on our ITAX, the file that will have validated, that is what will come and on aspect of filing returns, the same procedure that you had used before, you come and file return, select the VAT obligation, click next. Already you have filed, yes. You don't want file amended, but the file that we have selected, of course, after selecting our period, maybe talk of November 30th, we select that file that we have worked with. Of course, it will save somewhere on the documents. You see? So like mine, this one, it is where it has saved. Whatever that you've done, you come and just select where it has saved. After that, the next process, of course, would be to come and agree, then you submit, then you submit, then you submit, then you submit. So most important is that is how we used to do things. But with the auto-populated VAT return, you don't need to go and have the Excel worksheet for you to upload and do all the rest. No. With what will happen now is that you just download, and even if you file, if at all that item is not on ITIMS, it will tell you that this invoice number, a particular invoice number, is not on ITIMS, so it will not pick. It will not pick, and that's why they brought this aspect of auto-populated. That's why they brought this aspect of auto-populated. Actually, in our case, you'll find that whatever that we're doing, you'll go to that option 2 if option 1 has refused in terms of auto-populated. But at this point, we will be required to use majorly the auto-populated. We'll be required to use the auto-populated VAT return, where you get all things being filled. So your case is just to confirm if things are okay. If things are not okay, you correct. If things are okay, you just submit the same file. So once you have filed, in that case, it will be as if you have filed a return. It will be as if you've just filed a return, but you've not paid. You see, you just filed a return, but you've not paid. You just filed a return, but you've not paid. But you've not paid. You see? So once we have that case, then we can proceed to the next item of payment. So on payment, you come to payment. The item that you have submitted, it will come here automatically. Where if at all you want to file, in this case, you want to proceed, yes. So you said you come to payment. You can also do it on your end, your ITAX, payment registration. We click next. Okay. So under okay, the tax head is VAT. Subhead is VAT. So if at all that item, I will have it here, it will appear at this point. See, it will appear at this point, telling me to do what? To just generate the payment slip. It will appear at this point where I'll be required to generate a payment slip. So it is a payment slip that you are going to use to pay this tax. It is a payment slip that you're going to use to pay the tax. It's a payment slip that you're going to use to pay what? To pay the tax. Pay the tax. The payment slip you're going to use, of course, to pay our tax. But because already it was filed, you'll find that and pay. That's why you can see under VAT obligation in our case, we don't have that item because we've not filed. To just that process. So you'll find that things have been made very easy now. Because now all you can do, you just download the auto-populated. That's what I'm really insisting on. Right now, you can just download the auto-populated, and that is what we'll be using. That is what we will be using, of course. That's what we'll be using. That is what we will be using. So to that point, you'll find that that is a process. That is ideally the process from ITIMS all the way to aspect of filing this return. You'll find that it is that journey. It is that journey. And very soon, probably, if at all you're not doing this practically, very soon, I know you can get that engagement, and that flow will really help us. So we can review the videos as many times as possible. We can review the video as many times as possible, just to make sure that at least we've mastered all the steps right. Just to make sure that you mastered all the steps right, so that when you're talking about filing, of course, or working it out practically, things will be very, very easy. 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 Any question?
Mwalimu,
Yes, please.
what happens for the case whereby you find that our VAT output is more than the VAT input?
So that is where you'll be talking about payment. So that is, you're supposed to pay. If your output is more than...
Like, I mean, in input, sorry, like purchases are more than sales. Yeah.
That is the case that we had here. That is where you'll be having a credit. You'll be having the aspect of what? The credit. And like in our case, I think our case, we're at that point. If you check our case, we're at that point, right? So in that case, that will be a credit. You won't be required to pay, but what will happen is that is what you'll be claiming from KRA. And many a times there's no, you won't be given a refund, but what they do, you're going to carry it forward. You're going to carry it forward. See?
So you won't be paid that refund?
Rarely they'll do that. What they normally tend to do, you'll carry it forward, you see? You'll carry it forward and have it here. You see, the aspect of credit brought forward from previous month, the way we did this one here.
Okay.
Okay, so that is what will be done.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Great. So I want you to, of course, review the video over and over again. In this case, of course, it will give us, it will help us to understand it very, very clearly. It will help us to understand the concept very, very clearly. So I think tomorrow is supposed to start with our Power BI. I think we can communicate and clear the payroll taxes. Remember, we have to check the payee, the aspect of NSSF and SHIF. I think we can do that tomorrow. Then Power BI, we do it, of course, we can do Power BI on Thursday and Friday. We can do Power BI on Thursday and Friday, so that tomorrow, or at least, we clear the aspect of payroll taxes. We clear the aspect of the payroll taxes. We clear the aspect of payroll taxes. So to that point, you guys have a very good night. We're going to try and upload this video with the one that we did yesterday so that you can access all of them at once. So that point, you guys have a very good night. Of course, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.